one line shot into right field. Rizzo has it. Good arm in right field as we saw earlier on his throw to third.
Has been strong on the mound for the Jays so far as Stevens gets a hold of that one to left center field. Jimmy Stevens has left the yard, and the Blue Jays take a 4-1 lead here in the sixth.
Go back to the bullpen. Do something cool.
And now the starting lineup for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays. Leading off, the shortstop from Oak Park, Illinois, number 15, Dylan Whitney. Batting second, playing right field from Los Angeles, California, number 8, Alex Shane. Batting third, playing third base from Wellington, Florida, number 33, Sean Stoyer. Batting fourth, the catcher from Coral Springs, Florida, number 11, Caleb Sear. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Boulder, Colorado, number 22, Dylan Souvenir. Batting sixth, playing left field from Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, number 5, Jacob Harris. Batting seventh, playing second base from New Albany, Ohio, number 2, Jimmy Stevens. Batting eighth, the designated hitter from Rockville, Maryland, number 14, Lucas Gear. Batting ninth, the center fielder from Glenside, Pennsylvania, number 24, Jake Ciani. And pitching for the Blue Jays from Bluebell, Pennsylvania, number 1, Quinn Rovner. The Blue Jays are coached by Bob Babb.
3-2 on the way, hit hard, right back up the middle. Base hit for Stevens. Leopold there in center field for it to keep him at first, but hot moment. 1-1 on the way from Santaremo. Stevens working against him. Pitch lifted into the air, into right center field. Martinson not going to get there. Smacks off the wall. A pair going to score for Johns Hopkins off the bat of Jimmy Stevens. Souvenir and Harris, I should say, come on home after that swing by Jimmy Stevens. All three of those men now starting this game off. 2 for 2. Even count. Pitch, line back to second. Stevens is there. He's going to throw to first. He'll have the second out of the inning. Ventura retired there by Stevens. Tremendous second baseman is Jimmy Stevens. Really, when you look all around kind of the infield, Stevens, Souvenir, Stoyer, even Whitney, but particularly the first three I mentioned, all three guys that Coach Babb says, hey, maybe the best guys I've ever had defensively at these positions. Ball hit here by Picarella, right back up the middle at Grumbles, bounces over to Stevens. He makes the toss to first, and the side is retired. Weber gets on with that single, first hit of the game to start things.
He can. Whitney to second, Stevens. Roll it, 6-4-3. And the Blue Jays get a twin killer And sit down Bowers for the first time today. Jefferson deals. Knuckleball fisted back up the middle. Tough play. Stevens bare hand across in time for the out. Jimmy Stevens comes up and charges in to make an outstanding play. That ball's spinning like a pool cue. Not easy to pick up and throw across cleanly. But he made that play look routine, didn't he?
And actually recorded his third hit of the season in 24 at-bats back in the first inning. He slaps that one to the right side. Jimmy Stevens able to field it to the glove side. Off-balance throw is picked by Souvenir. You will not see a better defensive play anywhere in Division III baseball today. Ranging to the glove side, as we've seen so often, Jimmy Stevens deep in the hole, and Souvenir with the fancy footwork to get a piece of the bag on the low throw. The rally is stopped with a runner on second, and the Blue Jays.
That's
it is
great.
fundamentally different than what it used to be.
Of course, your parents out there, you're probably already aware of this. Your kids have been telling you all this time. You just need Sam to explain it a little better, as opposed to, yeah, Mom, whatever. I don't know. Base hit there for Jimmy Stevens to center field. And something as Stevens sends it to right field. Boy, turn the right fielder around, and it's off the wall. Man coming in to score is Harris, and the double there for Stevens, and sending it the way you felt like, or you say it is where his power is, right?
That's right. It was a good swing. He actually hit it off the end of the bat a little
Bobby
bit.
Leitzel, he's 14 for his first 36. Hit safely in all 9 Saints games to start the season. And he rips this one. Jumping catch by the second baseman. That's Jimmy Stevens at his best.
Jimmy Stevens, the defensive wizard over there at second base for Johns Hopkins. You'll very seldom see him make a mistake, and he'll make the acrobatic play for you too, like you see right
to
there.
Start this season, 435 at the dish. And he hits one up the middle that could be 2, 4, 6, 3, double play. And Quinn Rovner is out of trouble in the second. Marymount bullpen and what we might see from them down the stretch. Obviously, that depends a lot on the scoreline. Michael Arce has worked in a couple of instances as their closer last year, as this one's hit high in the air by Stevens. Center field, forget it. A moonshot home run for Jimmy Stevens. The second in 3 at-bats makes it 6-1 Johns Hopkins.
Steady Eddie, Jimmy Stevens finding the left center gap and into the hedge. The 4th time today, Jake. 1 ticket round trip for the Blue Jays second baseman.
Might as well buy a group package at this point. Stranded the tying run 3 times in the final 5 innings. Real tightrope act by the Marymount bullpen. As that one's lined right to Stevens. Great first step at second base for the second out. And Jonathan McMath standing between Joss on a 1-2-3 inning.
I just happened to be looking at Jimmy Stevens before that pitch. It almost looked like he knew that ball was coming to him the way that he approached that delivery from Joss. And right he was, right at him, that line drive from Quadros. Now 2 outs here in the 6th.
Talking about Jimmy's defense, Bob Babb said he just makes plays at second base that others don't. And for Jimmy, they're just routine, really solidifies the entire infield defensively. You don't always hear that about a second baseman out of the 4 positions on there. Pretty long
odds, you'd imagine.
Blue Jays have gone back-to-back once this year. They won't do it again, but Stevens keeps the line moving with a base hit to straightaway center. A multi-hit game for Jimmy Stevens.
And he does. That one popped weakly over to right field. Jimmy Stevens giving chase. Backpedaling and making the grab is the Blue Jays second baseman. And quickly, it's 2 out. Double to lead off this one here in the 5th. That one is skied towards center field. Jake Ciani is going to charge hard to try and get it. Jimmy Stevens will make the play in short right field. The throw in quickly to Caleb Sear will hold Bonacci at third base. Heads up play by the veteran second baseman as soon as he caught that one. Rifling the first one, but he scored a run after drawing a walk in the 7th. And he laces that one right back up the middle. That ball was smoked and it almost caught the ankles of Louis Misla, but instead it squeaks into center field for a single. But It brings Jimmy Stevens up, who had a single up the middle in his first at-bat. First pitch, Jimmy Stevens slaps it into right field as Harris will now go first to third on a perfectly executed hit and run by Jimmy Stevens and Jacob Harris to this 2025 campaign, and doing so in impressive fashion, both with the bats and with the arms, as Stevens lashes one into right field. The wind's got a hold of this one. It's off the wall, and playing it nicely off the wall was the right fielder, Luke Shartner. Fielded it off the hop and kept Jimmy Stevens to a very long single on the first pitch.
As the Blue Jays' second baseman, Stevens so far batting .400 even as he lines this one right over the base, or right over the head, of Jackson Inman. He tried to show the vertical, and instead it's going to be an extra base hit to lead things off for Johns Hopkins. Jimmy Stevens with a double. Morris batting .278 so far this year. He's trying to improve his average. That won't help his odds as this one's lifted out to right field. And coming in to make a great effort catch to record the second out. First pitch from Rovner is lined right back to Whitney at short. They'll flip to second, over to first in time. A big double play on defense for Johns Hopkins. He races the run and keeps this score right where it is. And he flew out over to Morris. That one almost looked like it had a good chance at maybe scraping the wall. The 1-2 from Hirschfeld is lifted out to right field. This one might have a little bit better of a chance than that. It will. Morris will just watch it go. Jimmy Stevens goes yard.
Hirschfeld, his 9th hit he just gave up right there. First home run he's given up on this year. So Hopkins will extend the lead to 7.
Part of his player of the game performance. And Sheeler grounds this one to Whitney at short. Flip to second, on to first, in time. Another double play for this Johns Hopkins defense, this time ending the bottom half of the 7th inning.
The complete opposite of what Salisbury wanted to get out of this situation.
Stevens today, 2 for 3. A long fly out back in the first. Since then, singles in the 3rd and 4th. This one hit high in the air, out to left center field. Still going back is the left fielder Watson. Still going back at the wall. It's gone. Jimmy Stevens goes yard for the 4th time this year and the 2nd straight game. Well, that ball just kept carrying, and Watson ran out of room. Johns Hopkins now leads 6-3.
Evening here at Babfield.
Grumbles pitched against Mountain Union on March 14th. Berman swinging at the first pitch, back up the box. Stevens will charge it. Throw on to first is just in time to set Berman down. And the first two Cardinals are retired here in the top. Flew out into left field his first time up. Hacking at that pitch, pops it up over to the right side. Should stay in play. Three players heading over. Stevens makes the call, and he makes the catch. Drew Grumbles continuing to roll along. 5 shutout innings, and it remains a 6-0 game.
Compared to other defenders in the Centennial and in the country, but that's been a part of his game that's really grown as he's matured into an upperclassman here.
Kind of an excuse-me swing there from Marini, but he gets it in play. Flip on to first is not in time. Oh, they do call it in time. Stevens does a good job covering the old 3-4 put out at first base, so a runner in the scoring position. That was a bang-bang play over at first. Not really sure how Marini even made contact with that ball.
Looked like it might have gotten him by about half a step there. Jimmy Stevens smartly able to use the left foot, that glove side foot, to receive the toss and touch the bag.
Stevens grounds out in the hole. Felice backhands, throws from deep in the hole, gets away from Filippelli. Stevens doesn't break stride. He heads to second. Hollander will send that one into left field, backing up. Last week as Franklin Marshall defeated Lebanon Valley Albright, 2 from Rutgers Newark and 1 from Moravian, as Stevens takes it and throws out. McKenzie 1 gone. 6 career wins at Johns Hopkins. Filippelli grounds out, went up the middle. Stevens is able to make the stop, throw on a bounce, and is able to make the play. Jimmy Stevens. Desautel is grounded to third. Stoyer second for 1, over to first in time. 5-4-3 twin killing. And Anderson gets out of the inning. Stevens hits that one in short left field. McCluskey coming on. It's going to drop in. But Sear had to hold to make sure that McCluskey wasn't going to catch that one. Final time we'll see Jimmy Stevens here in the regular season. He plays his grad year in Baltimore. Liner into center field. That's going to fall in the gap. Souvenir will round third. He's going to come home. Stevens on his way to third. He's in with a stand-up triple. And Hopkins extends the lead, picks up an important insurance run. It's 5-2.
After Whitney was called off the bag. Pissner goes the other way, gets down into the corner, and that's going to be interference at third. We got interference at third. 2 aboard, 2 outs, and a 2-run game. Bergen wants to end it right here. In the air, right side, dying fast though. And McGowan overruns it. It's going to score at least 1.
On the year, 3rd best on the team, only behind Jacob Harris and Sean Stoyer. 2-1 on the way. Grounded left side. Diving attempt by the third baseman, Ruth. He's up with it. The throw is off target. Comes in on a couple of hops. And it'll be an infield single with 2 outs for Jimmy Stevens. Here's Daniel Fedorka hitting .273 on the year. Chops this first pitch over to the right side. It's going to be Jimmy Stevens. And Monterosa over to cover for out number 2. Had to wait a second there. You had Souvenir charging. Thought he might have had a play on the high chopper. Let it go, and Stevens right behind him. Had to wait for it. Nice job by the home run he allowed to Damian Brown was the first home run he's allowed this year. This one off the fist, punched the opposite way. That one's down in center in front of Toretto. Souvenirs up 90 feet to third. And the Blue Jays have men on the corners with nobody out here in the 8th. Scoreless inning. Got a strikeout and faced the minimum 3. This one reached for, poked the opposite way. Jimmy Stevens will glove it and go to first. Out number 1 here in the 9th. Devin Rowe.
There's a line drive. And it's Stevens over to Whitney, over to Souvenir, and they roll the double play. So just what Grumbles needed after Burke's single. Stellato grounds into the 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score here in Baltimore.
Gettysburg on the road at Haverford for 2. Here's the 3-2 coming. Grounded, could be 2. Stevens flips to Whitney, spins, fires, not in time. Grounded left side, could be 2. Stoyer to Stevens to Souvenir. Just what the doctor ordered, 5-4-3. 13th double play turn by Johns Hopkins this year. 5th that Muhlenberg's hit into. Looks like a right-hander is lightly tossing. As this one's hit well out to right center field and deep. That one is gone. Opposite field, leadoff home run for Jimmy Stevens. The Blue Jays, who have been making great contact with the ball all afternoon, finally able to put one over the wall. Jimmy Stevens with his 5th home run of the year ties us up at 1. And Rutgers Newark. So one thing these 2 starting pitchers here in game 2 have in common is Jimmy Stevens crushes one to deep left field. Boussiere at the wall. This one is gone. Jimmy Stevens with a home run in each ball game today. And just like in game 1, this solo shot ties us at 1. For you, 1 today hit by Jimmy Stevens. 2-2. Ripped, diving attempt by the third baseman, Cipollino. It's past him into left field. Being waved home is Souvenir. Here's the throw to the plate. Not in time. Johns Hopkins takes the lead, and Jimmy Stevens into scoring position on the throw home. Nice relay there, but Souvenir gets in ahead of it. RBI single for Jimmy Stevens, and That milestone I plan to tell you about is an RBI milestone. Jimmy entered today one shy of 100 for his career. The home run back in game 1 was number 100, and here in game 2 he has numbers 101 and then there number 102. Here's Clay Harchie, 38. Inherits a tough situation. Jimmy Stevens stands in. Men on first and second, nobody out. And the score 7-4. First pitch to Stevens, hit high in the air, deep right center. Kent at the wall. It's gone! Jimmy Stevens, a game-tying 3-run home run here in the bottom of the 8th. Jimmy Stevens, have yourself a day. His second home run of game 2, his third home run of the day. We're tied at 7. Absolutely incredible stuff here at Babb Field. This crowd is fired up. Look at this one again. Jimmy Stevens having maybe the best offensive day of his college career. Here's Clay Harchie, who swings at the first pitch, drives one to left. Boussier going back.
Oh, that's not good.
I
can't tell you what.
Get out! Get out!
How we go, guys? Let's go. Way to reset, kid.
Into the middle back end of the lineup. That ball is swung on. It's going to be in play behind first. Coming on is, look like the second baseman, Stevens, who made a nice running play out there, and that will retire Mazzullo. The eye opportunity. Grumble's pitch. Hit on the ground to second. Stevens over to first. And the one out hit and stolen base will not come back to get the Blue Jays. Here it is. Runners going. Skied into shallow center field. Moving back is the shortstop, and now calling it off is the second baseman, Stevens, but he makes a play. Not necessarily in typical second baseman range, but the side is retired. Called upon here in a big spot. Trying to keep this lead at 2. This one's off the fist, out in the short right center, coming on a dive and making the catch. They said it hit the ground, though. It is. They say it's on the ground. They're going to throw it in. Hopkins has been running the bases. They were celebrating as that one's kicked away again as it's into short center. This is going to be a real argument. Kenzie. And on the ground, the third past the diving Dean. 1 run it is in. Sear is sprinting around third. He'll score. They'll hold up Souvenir at third. It is a 2 RBI double for Jimmy Stevens. This one is now blown open, 9-2. And for Stevens, now 5 RBIs in this one. And the next pitch is beaten to the ground to the shortstop. Flip to second for 1, on to first. And they call a double play. So 1 pitch after the E8. The Blue Jays go 6-4-3. And there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th.
That was knocked into deep center field and down against the wall. Rossman is going to get there and throw it in. Runners are all going to go. It's going to be a stand-up triple for Stevens. And Hopkins takes an early lead, 3-0. And that ball is carried out of here for another solo shot. Jimmy Stevens. That ball is hit hard to second base. A falling catch. But Jimmy Stevens will get them out of the inning. That ball is hit hard to second base. A falling catch. But Jimmy Stevens will get them out of the inning. Haverford only scored one there, making it 6.
If the new base runner, Shane Daly, will be off and running at some point in this count. That one's rolled over to Stoyer. Stoyer picks it up, goes to second, and that will do it. A 5-4 put out from Stoyer to Stevens, and the Blue Jays escape the Green Terror by a score of 4-3 here. What a ball game on all fronts from both sides. Outstanding base. Jimmy Stevens, as we mentioned, has 6 home runs in the last 5 games, bringing his season total up to 10. That one is jammed over to third base. A diving effort from McKenna knocks that ball into left field, and Stevens is going to hold up after taking an aggressive turn at first base. He thought about 2, and perhaps this one's rolled over to Stoyer again. Over to Stevens, and in time, a twin killing to get Drew Grumbles out of the top half of the 5th, stranding Max Mullins at third base. Just what the doctor ordered. The Blue Jays retain their lead. It's 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. He's got 55 of them. He draws a jam shot over to Whitney, who flips to Stevens, over to first, and Souvenir is in time for the double play, just what the doctor ordered for Johns Hopkins. Souvenir thought there were 3 outs, but instead it's just the first 2. And we have a little bit of an argument coming from Jim Carone and field umpire Paul Wills. Carone seems to think that perhaps one or both of those runners were not out. You can see on your replay here, Whitney with a quick feed over to Jimmy Stevens, who is easily able to get the out at second. The throw over to first appeared to be in time on the replay. Cherry Hill, New Jersey, hitting .313 with a .336 on base percentage. 31 for 99 on the year, including a long ball, 16 RBIs, and 14 runs scored. He'll poke a ground ball to Jimmy Stevens, who on the backhand and on the run flips to Dylan Souvenir for the first out of the inning. So Connor Hank able to get the leadoff man for the second consecutive frame.
Here's the 1-1. Ripped towards center field. That ball is down for a base hit. Souvenir will be held at third base by Babb. And Jimmy Stevens has a 3-hit performance here in game 2.
In that scenario.
There goes a runner from first. Ground ball back up the middle. Diving stop by Jimmy Stevens. He's up with it. On to first. Picked out of the turf by Dylan Souvenir. Nicely done. And grumbles, who fell to the ground awkwardly trying to avoid that. He waves off the dugout, and the trainer says he's good to go.
Just an interesting sequence all the way around, huh?
And I'll tell you what, I don't think, if the runner's not going from first, I don't think Jimmy Stevens is getting to that ball.
I think you're right. It probably would have been a single. Jimmy Stevens, a prime example of that. We mentioned 2 home runs in game 1 today. Even though he's no longer the sole leader for the team in home runs, he got a chance to answer Suvi right here.
This one hit over towards short. Diving attempt by the shortstop, Rothward, but it's past him and into left field for a 2-out single. So Jimmy Stevens.
See if he can locate.
Ground ball right side, could get 2. To second for 1. Relay, got him. 1-2. Hit high in the air, deep right field. Sullivan at the wall. It's gone. Jimmy Stevens in opposite field. 3-run shot off of Noah Potholm. A 6-run inning. Make it 13-2, Johns Hopkins.
What did we say back in the 3rd? Jimmy Stevens loves Saturdays in the Centennial. How about 3 tickets round trip this time for Jimmy Stevens? And for the 3rd consecutive weekend, multiple home runs in the doubleheader. He's looking to match back-to-back weekends previously with 3. He's already got 2 here in game 1. Really?
Really?
Oh, man, it could have been anybody at that point.
3-2 ripped over towards second base. Jimmy Stevens, look what I found. On to first base, 4-3. Leadoff man retired. Nice job by... It's been 2 straight weekends for Jimmy Stevens that he's hit 3 home runs on a Saturday doubleheader. Did so against Muhlenberg here 2 weeks ago. And he hits one hard, deep left field, and it's gone. Boy, I spoke that one right into existence.
Manifestation is real, Harrison. And you know what else is real? 2 tickets round trip, courtesy of Jimmy Stevens. He is having one heck of a conference season. He loves Saturdays in the Centennial, doesn't he?
He does. That is the 12th home run he's hit this year. And RBIs, 40 and 41. Look at this ball, smoked.
Beautiful swing right there. You can see the swing angle, upward trajectory, launching that thing, tucking it inside the foul pole. What a swing from Jimmy Stevens.
We love a nice bat flip, too.
I'm not even sure.
Said he had some bad luck. Left a few balls right over the middle of the plate, belt high, and then stated the obvious. That's not a formula for success. Diving stop by Jimmy Stevens. He's up with it. On to first. They got him. A red gem from Jimmy Stevens on senior day. The graduate student honored earlier with the seniors, showing off the glove. Nicely done there. Kieran Collins will face the minimum 3 batters.
Defender, though, he's got an opportunity. Cross, pass, shot, goal.
The obvious. That's not a formula for success. Diving stop by Jimmy Stevens. He's up with it. On to first. They got him. A red gem.
That was a leadoff single there. As here's a ball up the middle, double play potential, and they will spin it. So quickly, 2 pitches, 2 batters, 2 outs, and
Johns Hopkins being like, we got to speed this game.
He's got no reason to hold runners on, so he can work from pretty much whichever position he wants. And 0-2 count, a little more favorable for him, as this ball is hit well and hard towards left center, and another home run this inning.
Oh my God! I think we're
a 3-run shot, and I mean all the guys who on paper should be hitting home runs are hitting home runs. So a 3-run shot, and now the Red Devils are, 1 run away from giving up the mercy.
Yeah, but first we need 2 more outs.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
Hartgy
we can find them in there. they can still.
Will be
keep
at the plate.
motivation.
Yeah, this is, you know, with not so many innings pitched and outcomes. Coach Craig Hansen, not so many
go
innings.
far.
Yeah, it could go a lot further, a lot faster. It'll come off the bat as here's a curveball hit to the side. Nice play made by the second baseman and an errant throw, but Souvenir able to apply the tag to Schmidt. Thought he might have had an infield single.
Number 35, Matt Torres.
Put a ball in play towards second base, double play potential, and a good job by Sigmund there, able to beat out the throw. He will roll over a ball towards second base. And the easy out made by Jimmy Stevens. But a nice inning. Here's a ball in play, hit hard in that 5-6 hole. So there's a single for Stevens. Hopkins definitely heating up this inning.
I know they're definitely coming out strong. I feel like they must have been like after the game on Tuesday, they're like, we want to come out strong. You know, we can't have a repeat, especially being ranked number.
Lines one to second, that's caught. So a nice barrel there, but just right into the hands of Stevens.
Batting eighth, left fielder, number 21.
Absolutely. So here's Gartland showing bunt, and he will lay one down on the first base side. And a good job there by the second baseman coming over. That's Jimmy Stevens.
Doing the catching for Johns Hopkins are Caleb Sear and Jimmy Stevens. Okay, Governor Moore and Jimmy, it's your pitch. Many thanks to Governor Moore and Jamie. Governor Moore, welcome back to Homewood.
How about that to open the festivities here today as Governor Wes Moore, Johns Hopkins alumni, here to throw out the opening pitch and get this Blue Jays squad fired up here today. So we'll step aside for the starting lineups in the national anthem. Everett 3 hits away from 100 in his career. Whitney, Stevens, throw to first is in time. And they turn the 6-4-3 double play to get out of the bases loaded jam unscathed. Midway through 6, 7-4 lead for Johns Hopkins. He struck out 3 of the 6 he faced, 0-2. Slow roller back past Yusuf. Stevens, range is over, throw to first is in time. And that's your ball game. Johns Hopkins will finish the 2025 season undefeated at home.
and number 15, Kelly Harper.
Strike one. Jimmy, the only Blue Jay now who has started in all 40 games this season. He's got 14 big flies, 49 RBI. Okay, looking to reach back. The 0-2. Hit hard up the middle, through for a base hit. Whitney scores. Stoyer coming around third, and he crosses the plate. A 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run single for Jimmy Stevens, and the Blue Jays strike first. In the top of the second, and a first pitch swing from Haddock over the mound. Stevens is there to throw out the speedy left fielder. That's the second out after 4 straight McDaniel hitters had reached, as you get another look at Stevens making that play. Last year it was Shea McKenna with a 2-run blast early before Hopkins turned that thing around, won it 12-4. Blooper, backpedaling Stevens is there to grab it, and McDaniel is done in the top of the second. Stolen home a couple of times this year. Just a scrappy baseball player that Coach Carone absolutely raved about as he hits one to third. Stoyer to Stevens to Souvenir for a 5-4-3 double play. And Nick Joss, after giving up the solo homer to Kelly, works out of any further damage in the 7th. We'll watch it one more time as we encourage you to stretch your legs wherever you're watching us on the Centennial Conference Digital Network. It's 7th inning stretch time in the Charm City. This year, they come into this one having won 4 of their last 5 and scored 79 runs over those 5 games. As that one goes over the mound, Stevens ranges to get it, throws to first in time. How about that by Jimmy Stevens?
There's not really much more that I can say about how great of a defender Jimmy Stevens is. At certain points, plays like that, you start to become desensitized to. He's got range for days, great arm strength as he demonstrates there, and just a great sense of the position. That's how you make plays like that. Good on you, Jimmy Stevens.
A jumping, floating throw that we will try to watch again before we go after this inning, or as this inning progresses. Fine defensive play. Sam, how does he do this?
I wish I could tell you, because I've never been able to do something like that, but I'll tell you what it is elite hands, elite athleticism, and an elite arm. You can see hard out of the box. Souvenir able to dig out what was a little bit of a low throw for the first out.
Stevens no slouch either. The only Blue Jay to start now in all 41 games. 366, 14 homers, 51 driven in. And he drives one through the left side. First base hit of the game for Johns Hopkins. Belongs to their second baseman. And that puts 2 on with only 1 gone.
Hit 2!
This could be 2. 4, 6, 3, double play. Just what Drew Grumbles wanted.
Right on cue for Drew Grumbles, getting that rollover ground ball to Jimmy Stevens. That middle of the infield capped off by the man over at first base. They've rolled far too many double plays to count in their time here at Johns Hopkins. The payoff here. Rolled over again. Jimmy Stevens to the glove side. He'll field, set his feet, and make an accurate throw to Dylan Souvenir. A nice improvement. Jimmy 1 for 3 today. We talked about the Johns Hopkins version of Iron Man Cal Ripken as he laces another one into center field. That's down for a base hit.
So dependable this season.
Started every single game for Bob Babb, and now 2 for 4 on the day.
Starting in all 41 of the Blue Jays' previous games, now making that a perfect 42 for 42.
We talked about Chuck Norton being somewhat of an Iron Man for the Fords this weekend. Jimmy Stevens has been Iron Man for the Blue Jays all season long.
Maybe Jimmy Steve Rogers as he rolls that one down the left field line, all the way up against the fence, 307 feet away. And he cruises into second base with a leadoff double in this
The Centennial Conference champions from Johns Hopkins University. Congratulations to captains Caleb Sear, Dylan Whitney, Jimmy Stevens, and Sean Stoyer, head coach Bob Babb, and the rest of the Blue Jays on an outstanding season. They will continue in the NCAA tournament as the Centennial Conference's automatic qualifier. After winning their 20th Centennial Conference championship.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 Division III Baseball Selection Show. My name is Jeremiah Johnson. It is an honor and privilege to be with you on this Monday, a beautiful day in May as we set the stage for the 49th edition of this spectacular championship. As always, 64 schools will see their names and records in the bracket. Over the next 30 minutes, they will learn their path to a title. All roads lead to Eastlake, Ohio, where Classic Auto Group Park will host the 8 Super Regional winners in an event held May 30th through June 5th. Let us start by recognizing one of our hosts this weekend, 39-3 Johns Hopkins, 3 straight Centennial Conference crowns for the Blue Jays. Jacob Harris named Most Valuable Player after a 14-4 win against Haverford, second in the nation in home runs per game and slugging percentage. Speaking of home runs, 3 Johns Hopkins players have exactly 14 dingers. Drew Grumbles is 8-0 on the mound. He has a team-high 68 strikeouts.
And now Ryan Tam hopes to add on. He pokes one in the air, shallow right. Back goes Stevens, and he makes the grab from his second base position to retire the side. Sear at third, and Stevens getting set for a 3-2 pitch. And he stings it out to left. That one is off the wall. 3-1 Johns Hopkins on the RBI double by Jimmy Stevens. That is what this offense has done to teams for most of the season. Give an inch, they take a mile as Stevens chops one through the left side, a base hit. Stoyer gets sent home by Coach Babb. It's an RBI single for Jimmy Stevens and a dozen on the board for Johns Hopkins. Base is full, nobody out. Stevens gives it a ride. Courtesy jog for the second slam of the day by the Blue Jays. This time, Jimmy Stevens puts this one out of reach with a big blast. His 15th of the year is Hopkins' 6th home run of the day. And they are making a statement to start this regional weekend because of the way it went last time.
Absolutely. You can tell that Robeson has a good feel for all three of his pitches. As Stevens lashes that one to left center field. Joseph giving chase. He's not going to get there. That'll split the gap and bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. So Jimmy Stevens perhaps capitalizing on what was an accidental announcer's jinx. It was not 7 consecutive retired, but 6 consecutive retired for Robeson. Stevens would have been the 7th, but instead he finds himself standing on second base after lacing a ball into the left center gap.
Yeah, and Jimmy extends his hitting streak to 7, now 12 for his last 23, as his career year continues with a 2-bagger.
Jimmy fire away on 3-0 counts. And we'll see what Robeson goes to on the 3-1. It's another fastball. Poked right through the 5.5 hole. Stevens has his second hit of the afternoon.
Right now, instead of the tying run, Ramon comes up, hits a grounder to second. Stevens to Whitney for 1. He can't make the turn. Smith dashes for the plate, and he is out on the tag. Dylan Whitney able to throw an accurate ball to Caleb Sear to catch Chris Smith with his hand in the cookie jar. Is lose ball games, and they're in danger here. As the 0-2 is sent in the air, well read by Jimmy Stevens to catch the fast-falling liner. That is just shy of 1,300. And he rolls one up the middle. It could be 2. Whitney to Stevens. Jimmy the turn, and Olschlager grounds into the twin killer. And so RPI ties the game, but misses a massive opportunity. Can Jimmy Stevens cash it in? Sharply flied out to center field to end the first inning. Another fly ball. This one tails towards the gap, and it's down for a ground rule double. Sears scores. Souvenir stops at third, otherwise he'd have touched home too. Hopkins 5, RPI 2. Teams like Rutgers Newark, Muhlenberg, Haverford had leads against Hopkins and saw them squandered.
Stevens is going to extend the lead right here. The wind carrying that one well out of here onto University Parkway. Jimmy Stevens going Oppo Taco. And a solo big fly. 1 ticket round trip for Jimmy Stevens. And just like that, there are 3 men tied at the top for the Blue Jays yet again. A 16th long ball for Jimmy Stevens ties him with Dylan Souvenir and Sean Stoyer. And the Blue Jays make their lead 8.
Well, honk if you like homers. This one ends up on University Parkway. High up into the jet stream. Over that second chain link fence. And out of sight past the sedans.
Well, one thing these umpires are hoping to get out of sight is any sort of taunting or heckling coming from both sides, not just in the dugouts, but in the stands. It looked like as Jimmy Stevens rounded third base, he turned his head towards the RPI side, might have heard something or said something. You don't want to speculate.
I think it was a fan. I think a fan was giving Jimmy encouragement, and he looked and acknowledged the fan. I don't know if he was just responding to hearing his name, but that was how I interpreted the situation.
And you know what it could have been as well is Jimmy Stevens may have taken a little bit of extra time to exit the batter's box. That celebrating of home runs by admiring your work, in a sense, has really been cracked down on at the college level. And you
Scarpa, a 2-step lead at first. And a slow roller up the middle by Reddington. It's tailor-made. Stevens to the bag. Tosses across and turns a Blue Jay double play. The second twin killer return by Johns Hopkins this afternoon.
Explosions from all over the lineup.
Stevens, another high fly. This one could go, and it does. his second home run of the game and team best 17th of the season. And Jimmy Stevens punctuates another big day for the Blue Jay offense.
Well, how about 3 tickets round trip for Jimmy Stevens? Give him a 3rd, 4th, and 5th RBI on the day. And let me tell you a little story, Jake. Once upon a time, the single-season home run record for Johns Hopkins stood at 17. It had been that way for a couple of decades. Matthew Cooper came along, broke the record. Caleb Sear came along, broke that 17 home run mark. Jimmy Stevens now ties the record. Unbelievable.
Here with Johns Hopkins after the Blue Jays advance to the Super Regionals with a big victory over RPI in the NCAA Division III Baltimore Regional Championship game. Here joined by Johns Hopkins head coach Bob Babb, student athletes Caleb Sear and Jimmy Stevens. Coach, if you could start with an opening comment about the game, and then we'll have some questions.
Well, as you saw, we got a lot of big hits, timely hits, long balls, line drives. I thought our batters did a good job of adjusting, of staying, with what they do best. And, they suffered a little bit because of it, and they gave us some free bases, no doubt about that. And then our pitchers, pitched, I wouldn't say great, but well enough to, give us a chance to win. And I was just talking to, one of my pitching coaches, and I said, I don't think we pitched as well as we're capable this weekend, but we never gave up more than 5 runs, I don't think, so we'll take that.
Yeah, Coach, in the middle portion of the game, staying with the pitching, you turned it over to Cole Jefferson. What's impressed you about the postseason that he's put together so far?
Well, he comes in and makes the other team beat you. He throws strikes with 2 or 3 different pitches. He's going to give up some hits, but, we just emphasize with him, no free bases, no walks. He did hit the guy, barely hit the guy. But he did a nice job. He kind of settled it down a little bit.
Caleb, that 3rd inning, you guys put 7 runs on the board. At one point, 8 straight batters reached base. What's the energy like in the dugout when things are working for you like that?
It definitely picks up. Each hitter gains confidence, and every at bat we're trying to put pressure on the pitcher. So the plan worked out well, and we ended up scoring a lot of runs there.
And Jimmy, you did some damage late in the game with 2 homers. What worked well for you in the box today?
Yeah, the coaches put together a really nice plan. Staying on the fastball and driving it to right field. I think you guys saw the wind, picked up a little bit there. And if you elevate, especially at this ballpark, you can hit a lot of homers. So, yeah, I think Coach Schlenoff and Bab put us in a really good position. And, you just take the plan and execute it, and good things will happen.
Caleb, let's go back to early in the game. Drew, as Coach Babb alluded to, maybe we didn't have our best stuff on the mound. You've been behind the plate for a lot of games, and they had a lot of base runners on, and we were able to control the damage. But what's your message to the pitcher? What are you trying to communicate back there, all that experience you have managing that staff?
Basically my message to him was I just wanted him to settle down, relax. Like, our offense is going to put up runs, and he doesn't need to do anything special up there. So it's just, focus pitch to pitch and get back in the zone and don't try to do anything special.
Coach Babb, we'll move on to the Super Regionals now. We've been there a few times. What's the message to the team? What's the next week like preparing for that? Obviously, we have a lot of players that have been there before, but every time is also unique.
Sure. Well, the first thing we have to find out who we're going to play, and then we will scout them. We'll watch as much video as we possibly can, figure out, who they're going to pitch, set up, let our hitters know what kind of approaches we should take, let our pitchers know how we want to pitch these guys. But basically we're going to play the way we've played all year. It's worked. I don't think we need to make a whole lot of major changes. We just need to tweak a few things and keep trying to get better.
Just wanted to ask Jimmy about a couple of the double plays you had a hand in today. Those were big, and escaping a couple of early jams. How much chemistry over the course of the year have you developed with those guys on the infield?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's played as much together as, me, Dylan, and Sean have. Definitely helps. Really it's the pitchers, though. I think the double play is sort of an expectation at this point. They make really good pitches with guys on base. They have for a lot of years. I give credit to the coaches and the pitchers. They execute, and it's sort of on us to just make the plays, and we've been able to lately.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
His team is 42. If the goal is to go out on top, Johns Hopkins baseball coach Bob Babb is well on his way. His team is 42-3, ranked number 1 in the country, and this weekend they host an NCAA Division III Super Regional. Bob Babb, in his 45th season as the head baseball coach at Johns Hopkins, will retire after this season. That means this weekend, the Super Regional with Case Western, a best 2 out of 3, will be his last at Babb Field, the field named in his honor. So are the emotions growing heavy as the end nears?
I think when the final out is recorded in the last game, that's when it'll feel a lot different. But I haven't really felt that at all at this point.
But his players understand it all. They know the magnitude of the moment for Coach Babb and for themselves. The Blue Jays have never won the national championship in baseball, but this team has all the pieces to get it done.
I mean, it's obviously the ultimate goal. When I came here as a freshman, and Coach Babb talks to you, when I'm being recruited here and talking about winning a national championship, and then sophomore year, when you come that close to winning one, and it really starts to feel real, starts to feel, attainable.
Why not? The example set by their head coach demands excellence.
You'd think maybe in year 45 you'd take a little bit off the gas, right, and you start kind of coasting a little bit, but he works harder than any coach I've been around.
And this group has been so close. National runners-up in 2023 with the same starting infield, catcher, and right fielder. Experience, they hope, makes the difference.
Pretty much everyone that's going to be on the field has been in really high leverage baseball games, and until you really experience that, you don't know what it's like.
Yep, it all sits right there for the Blue Jays and Coach Babb to go out on top. After this weekend, there could be a couple of teams from Maryland making their way to the Division III World Series, as Salisbury likewise is hosting a Super Regional. Here at Johns Hopkins, Pete Gilbert, WBAL, TV 11 Sports.
This Super Regional Series, the road to East Lake runs through Baltimore. Babb Field, our site for this best-of-3 series between the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays and the Case Western Reserve University Spartans. 0-2 pitch. Rolled up the middle, it could be 2. Stevens to Whitney for 1. His turn is in time. It's a 4-6-3 double play to take care of Andreyko.
Even throw Alonzo in that mix. They have been in this spot before. This team is not uncomfortable by any stretch.
Ground ball to third. Stoyer, Stevens, Souvenir. A 5-4-3 double play helps Kieran Collins in this Super Regional. Collins from the stretch. Ground ball up the middle. Stevens has it. He throws to first, and Johns Hopkins hangs on. Blue Jays win by a score of 7-4 and move to within 1 win of the D3 World Series. What a game,
It's a bittersweet weekend for the Johns Hopkins men's baseball team. They're on an absolute heater right now. The #1 team in the country is 42-3 on the season, and they're riding a 24-game win streak. But it's also going to be the final time that the legendary head coach Bob Babb takes the field here at Johns Hopkins this weekend.
People have asked me all year whether or not this feels different. This could be your last practice. This could be the last game here. It really doesn't.
It's bigger than just us this year. We're all working towards one thing. We see alumni coming back from 30, 40 years ago, and they're just saying things like, "Do it for Babb."
For 46 seasons, Bob Babb has been the head man for the Blue Jays baseball program. He's the winningest active coach in D3. His team hopes to send him out on top, and it begins with the best-of-3 series at home this Friday against Case Western Reserve University.
This team knows how to win, knows what it needs to do to be successful. Games we don't hit real well, we seem to pitch well. Games we don't pitch that well, we seem to score a lot of runs.
The Blue Jays will rely on the experience from guys who played in the 2021 and 2023 World Series.
Winning, 1-run, 2-run games, it comes down to, little plays, small details, and when you have experience, it kind of limits the pressure and the nerves.
It isn't lost on this club the sheer dominance they have displayed, winning 42 of 45 games this season.
It's really not easy to win as many games as we've won, and I think there's a general acknowledgement of that across the program. We've had ups and downs across my time here, that's for sure, and the 500 seasons make the 40 whatever and 3 seasons feel that much sweeter. And
With the trip to Cleveland on the line for this year's World Series, Jimmy Stevens, the Ohio native, is excited about the opportunity to win a title in his hometown.
proud of being from Ohio. I love Cleveland. You know, grandparents have lived there my entire life. You know, to be able to play in Eastlake at a ballpark I've been to multiple times would be really, really cool.
But no matter who you ask, this final stretch is about doing it for Coach Babb. But if you ask him, it's business as usual for now.
When the final out is recorded in the last game, that's when it'll feel a lot different. But I haven't really felt that at all at this point, to be quite honest with you.
Hopkins will host Case at noon this Friday at Babb Field. Reporting in Baltimore, I'm Xavier Wary, WMAR 2 News.
As they've done all season long, and particularly all postseason long, the Blue Jays have jumped on their opponent early here.
Souvenir just got just enough of that to put it through the 4-3 hole, bring a couple runs home.
Stevens lifts it in the air. Harms back at the wall. There it goes. Jimmy Stevens leaves the yard and puts Hopkins on top 5-0. His team leading 18th of the season adds to a career year.
And you talk about extra motivation. I'm sure yesterday's 0 for 4 4K performance just added to that for Jimmy Stevens. Oppo field shot puts it into the bleachers. No chance for Harms in right field.
You figure Hopkins isn't done scoring, so the Spartans need a few back here. Up the middle, this will score a run. Stevens fields it on the grass and throws out on Draco. It's an RBI ground out, and it's 7-2 now. Special atmosphere here today. Runner goes, and Stevens sends one to the right side. Tough play, Arterburn. He's up with the throw. It's late. Arterburn was drifting towards the bag because Souvenir got his wheels started, and that allows Stevens to reach on an infield single. So the gamble of bringing the infield in somewhat backfires there. As Siani puts down a bunt, Stevens to the plate, glove flip, not in time. It's a successful squeeze, and it's 9-3.
Well, hit off the bat, just the wrong area for the CWRU team.
High bouncer over the mound, backhanded by Stevens. 2 outs. As Stilson retired for the second time.
And now how big is that Siani play to get the first out of the inning? You get a 1-pitch out on the next, and just like that, 2 outs on the board.
Arms.
Massive situation here. 1 and 2, 2 outs in the inning. Runners on the corner. Ball grounded at Stevens at second. Throw made over, and the side is retired. Another 0 posted by Anderson here in the 4th. We head to the top of the 5th. Jays leading 10-3. Trying to bounce right back. This pitch reached out on, takes an awkward hop into the glove of Stevens, but he's able to make the throw over in time for out number 1.
Hey now, Jimmy Stevens playing a weird carom right here off of the mound. The second hop
brings the count full. You mentioned the whip parade earlier from Hopkins, top 5 in the country. They've been so good at just not allowing base runners. This pitch grounded back up the middle. Stevens backhands, makes the throw in time for out number 3. Jimmy Stevens, how about that? I'd love to see it again.
Not 1, but 2 Jimmy Stevens robberies in this inning. Screaming little line drive up the middle off the bat of Matt Trout. Kicks off the mound. Jimmy fields the short hop. Somehow gets enough on that throw despite leaning away from the base. He's airborne, and he's back to 2019. Stevens, who's at the plate, one of those 5th-year guys. Lines one over the head of Carinci. That's going to roll for a little while. Jimmy cruises into second base. He's got a double, just a triple shy of the cycle in this one. He and Kieran Collins can become the 3rd and 4th Blue Jays. Okay.
Johns Hopkins with a record of 44-3 will now advance to the Division II Baseball World Series held in Eastwood, Ohio at Classic Park.
Joined now by Johns Hopkins head coach Bob Babb, relief pitcher Grant Meir, and second baseman Jimmy Stevens after the Blue Jays knock off Case Western in the Super Regional Championship game here at Johns Hopkins. Coach, if you can just start off with an opening statement, then we'll have some questions for you.
Sure. I'm so happy for our team, especially our seniors and our grad students, how hard they've worked the last umpteen years to get to this position to return to the World Series. They certainly deserve it, and it was a true team effort today. We had a number of guys come up with clutch hits at clutch times, some clutch pitchers that made some big pitches, and it worked out the end. So I'm so proud and so happy for them.
For players, just take me through what this means and knowing what this means to him in his final campaign to get back to the College World Series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to get this done for Coach Babb more than anything, and I think the last 12 months of work since Coach announced that this would be the final season. We've all put in just a little more work to get to this point, and I think I view this as just a step on the way. It feels really good to be back. 2 years ago we were really close, and I think we're more prepared this time. We're just gonna go out there and finish the job for Coach.
Great group of leaders, and I know we're doing this for Babb, and we got to finish it out.
Yes, we do.
And for Coach, take me through the two big pitching decisions in this game. Obviously, taking the ball away from Grumbles when you did, and then turning the ball to him when and where you did.
Well, Drew was struggling with his command, and he wasn't throwing any off-speed pitches for strikes. So we knew yesterday, Kieran did a great job. We knew that if we didn't give them free bases via walks and hit by pitches, we could probably hold them to 4 or 5 runs, and we certainly thought we would score more than that. Bringing him in that situation, I've done that a number of times in my career. It puts a lot of pressure on the batter. I thought we could throw a fastball by Anderson, and the best fastball we have on the team is gentleman to my right, and I just said pump it in there, and he made me look good.
Grant, in your career, have you ever come on the mound in a 3-2 count?
Gosh, no. I came in 2-0 earlier in the year, and that was something, but never 3-2.
Jimmy, after a frustrating day at the plate yesterday, you were just seeing it really well up there today. What allows you to turn the page like that in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think baseball is a funny game. You never know what you're going to get day in, day out. And, number one, I'm thankful for Kieran yesterday and, the rest of the lineup picking me up, because it's not hard to win when your 6-hitter. It's hard to win when your 6-hitter has 4 strikeouts. So that's number one. And number two, I think, it's not anything different. I didn't make any adjustments. I think baseball's a game where you just roll it out there every day and you don't know what you're going to get. And, I prepared the same way. And, I think today you execute the plan just like I was attempting to yesterday, and things go your way.
Coach, you and your team get some more time together. Take me through what the preparation for Eastlake will look like.
Well, again, I'm not sure. I didn't look at any of the scores today, so I'm not sure who we will be playing. But as soon as that becomes apparent, I will be watching game after game after game. Basically, we will keep working on things that we think we can get better at and try to keep working on things that we're already good at so that we stay sharp. We'll probably have 2, maybe a third day on Wednesday of practice here before we head out to Ohio. So we'll be rested thank God we're healthy as healthy as we've been all year. And I know these guys are hungry to show what they can do.
Okay, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next team, the Blue Jays of Johns Hopkins. Located in Baltimore, the Blue Jays enter the tournament with a record of 44-3 and champions of the Baltimore Super Regional. First, the players. Number 1, Quinn Rodner. Number 2, Jimmy Stevens. Number 4, Nicholas Joss. Number 5, Jacob Harris. Number 6, Jimmy Nunez. Number 7, Cole Jefferson. Number 8, Alex Shane. Number 10, Damian Brown. Number 11, Caleb Sear. Number 13, Kieran Collins. Number 14, Lucas Gear. Number 15, Dylan Whitney. Number 16, Clay Hartjee. Number 18, Aaron Bach. Number 20, Tyler Sugren. Number 21, Will Bonino. Number 22, Dylan Souvenir. Number 24, Jake Siani. Number 26, Michael Youssef. Number 27, Connor Peng. Number 29, Ryan Anderson. Number 30, Keither Airy. Number 31, Drew Rumbles. Number 32, Cameron Hurley. Number 33, Sean Stoyer. Number 36, Thomas Gancian. Number 41, Grant Meredith. And number 44, Charles Monterosa.
Off the end of the bat. Drifting back from second is Stevens to make the catch. No damage done by Messiah. Hopkins stays in front, middle of 2. Messi keeps our lows in perspective and our highs in check. Kind of what maybe led to all this, just the persistence to just stay the course. Nothing across here in the 6th inning.
They got him picked off.
And the rundown is underway. Tagged out on his way to second for out number 2. That was as the runner goes, and it's a strike, and it's a throw down to second, and it's out, and side retired. Strong throw by Sear. Trailing by a pair now. Jimmy Stevens leads it off for Hopkins here in the bottom half of inning number 2. Stevens, Harris, and Gear, the designated hitter.
Harris threw 6 2/3 innings against Salisbury in the Super Regional, out 6 hits and just 1 run. He fanned 6. So again, the moment was not too big for the freshman.
This moment, not too big for Stevens either. A home run. Boy, you just blink and these guys go yard. Out in a hurry. Solo shot for Stevens to make it 3-0.
That's now 106 home runs for the Blue Jays this season. And again, they play in a bandbox, so people poo-poo their home run numbers, but the 2 balls hit today would have been out of anywhere. Big swing by Stevens. He knew it right from the get-go.
And you see Ott just, a couple steps, but he knew too. 3-0 just like that. Stevens the hitter. Solo home run back in the 2nd. Strike 1 to him. One and one. This one high in the sky. This might leave the park. And it will leave the park. Home run. 2-run shot for Stevens, his second home run of the afternoon. Well, just the beginning. Still down 9. It's 15-6.
Again, when you're pitching with that big a lead, you got to throw strikes. And if that happens, I think you got to shrug your shoulders and say, that's okay. That ball was carried. And the wind's blowing left or right, but that one went further than it looked like off the bat was going to go.
Yeah. It's one of those high, majestic home runs.
It truly was.
A little bit, Jimmy, is leaders on this team. Coach mentioned we've been down before, we've been down a lot. What is your message to your guys? You guys are two of the leaders on this team.
Yeah, sure. It's just one game at a time, right? We have a resilient group, as Coach Babb said, and we've been in tough spots before, and we've come out on top before. So it's just knowing that we have a really good team, we have a really good record, really good players, and you got to keep the energy up, positivity up, and I have no doubt that we can go through the losers bracket and win 4 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just reiterate what Caleb said. I mean, I think we trust our depth. That's number one. We have a lot of really good players on this team. And, I think as leaders, Caleb and I and the rest of the old guys trust every single one of the, 30 guys that we brought here. And so it's important to remember that, all those guys are going to be important over the next couple of days. We'll just take it at bat by at bat, inning by inning. And, I have the utmost confidence in every single one of those guys to do a good job on the field.
He squares, gets this one down. Collins, nice sliding grab to go get it. And Stevens covering at second base, sacrifice complete.
That is Kane's game.
Rips this one to third. Out at second. And at first, the double play. 5-4-3 for the Jays.
Go around the horn very nicely to erase the leadoff hitter, Tomlovich.
Catcher, number 34, John Chisano.
Steyer is already creeping in the grass, about 3-4 steps into the grass already.
Yeah, Stoyer's slowly pacing. It's going to go back to Collins. Throw to Stevens covering, and Solari was making it close down there, but mission accomplished. Teixeira down to second base on the sacrifice.
Yeah, he's an accomplishment. The only run in this game was an unearned run.
Comebacker, knocked down by Collins. Throw to first in time for the out. Everyone over there is saying challenge it. The run does score as Teixeira gets in from third. But the first base coach and Adorno both were frantically waving their hands.
So we'll get a review here in a tie. Now what is no doubt about it, a tie game as the runner scores from third. Nice play by Stevens after the ball deflects out toward him. And there's the bang play. At first it'll be reviewed.
So if you don't have something that can change it for certain, then the call will stand. And again, the call was the runner was out. So here's not real clear for it. The focus.
Devin Sheab at first calls him out. Is there enough to overturn that call?
That's what the fans want too.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why it goes on and on. And
I remember when the NFL.
Well, here comes the decision.
Oh, I'm just going to tell a story anyway. It'll keep.
Well, you'll get time after the decision is announced.
Right.
And the drama's building.
Call is out. So, and again, Sawed him off and popped him up. Shallow right field. Stevens with the glasses on makes the play. And there are 2 down.
It's my honor to announce the 17 players in attendance that were elected to the All-American team by our committee yesterday. In no particular order, when you hear your name, come on down. First one is Dylan Souvenir.
Just come outside for the night. Take your time, get your life. Got it done.
Good swing.
2. Grounded right side, fair down the first base line. We're going to have a tie game. Stevens in to score. Gear right behind him. 0-1. Another breaking ball, grounded over towards short, could be 2. To second for 1. Relay high, and it gets away. The Blue Jays have the lead. 2 runs are going to come in to score. 1-2. Grounded right side. There's a base hit. Stoyer's going to be waved home by Bob Babb. Here's the throw. It's cut off. Makes it 12-9, Johns Hopkins. Couple of interesting ones at home this week. Hood and Today. This one grounded over towards short. Whitney to his left. Gloves. Fires. Got him. And the ball game is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Scarlet Raiders in the top of the 9th. And the Blue Jays are 20-3 on the...
Heavy on the SS soldier, man. Loyalty over royalty, I know the vibes.
Blue cheese, I swear I'm addicted to blue cheese. I gotta stick to this paper like blue sleep. I'm about my chicken like it's a 2-piece. You can have your back, she a groupie. She just got all my kids in a 2-seat. Swagged out, from here we be bringing them gas out. I still got some racks stuffed in the trap house. Off the 42, I'm blowing her back out. I'm back in bullshit, swim back with a full clip. They say I'm moving ruthless, and my shooters they shooting. I won't take her, they roof Chris. I get the brief, then it's adios. If I'm with your truth, then she give it. When I see police, then we gang low. That's another piece, that's another zone. Ice in the VVs, now she down to get treachy. I got all this water on me like Fiji. I'm posted up by hats and the sleazies. Work there, I'm outside of some movie. Blue cheese, I swear I'm addicted to blue cheese. I gotta stick to this paper like Lucy. I'm about my chicken like it's a 2-piece. You can have your back, she a groupie. She just got all my kids in a 2-seat. Swagged out, familiar, we bringing them gas out. I still got some racks stuffed in the trap house. Off the 42, I'm blowing her back out. I'm back in the bush, swim back with a full clip. They say I'm moving ruthless, and my shooters they shooting. I won't take her, they roof Chris.
Show y'all the light. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky. He a denying God, freaky. He a denying God. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, hey,
Couldn't be more proud of you. I'm glad for you. As I said, you don't get many chances in life to win a championship, and you just did it today. So congratulations, well deserved.
Congratulations to Captain Caleb Sear, Stuart Whitney, Kenny Stevens, and Sean Stoyer, head coach Bob Babb, and the rest of the Blue Jays on an outstanding season. They will continue in the NCAA as we take
line drive. To a season high 5 as this one's hit well out to right field, and it's gone. What a swing. And he goes that way again. They got him in a pickle. Souvenir throws to Whitney.
Full speed! Run him!
He's going to flip it back to Souvenir, who applies the tag. Nicely done.
Hajim!
And he hits one hard, deep left field, and it's gone. 2-1, hit well out to right center field. Shane going back. He's at the wall. He runs it down. A minor collision with Jake Ciani, but they're good. A little bit of a celebration out there. It was almost like Ciani embraced him.
Lucas, little bingo right here. Come on.
This one's hit well off the bat of gear. Deep right field. This one's gone.
Way to let the ball get deep. Good work.
Hit high in the air. Deep right field. Sullivan at the wall. It's gone.
Go ahead, Jim.
Final score in game 1, 16-6.
Blue Jays on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Stevens lifts it in the air. Carves back at the wall. There it goes. Jimmy Stevens leaves the yard and puts Hopkins on top 5-0.
Big situations came through. It's what we need. Just what we want every year. Step 1 done, step 2 done, step 3 done. Now we take the road and ready for step 4. Everybody right here.
Hey, safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping up cause it's my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. 30K on my riches for hard times. These niggas just mad cause they in my archives. Jordan came back to the 4-5. If you play then you lay right there by your own kind. Hold up a 4 in the loco, tell them run this bitch back like so-so. Got this rap here in the chokehold. Did a show out in Austin, shout out to Bobo. Moved out the trenches, now look how we live. Turn my BM and furnish the crib. Walk out the mall with some shoes for the kids. Deposit the checks from my bank full of M's. Paid up my rent, now I'm up for the year. The view look crazy to me. What I pay for some dogs could've bought me Vanilla. Texas piece on my neck could've bought your career. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping up cause it's my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. Hey.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But then if you're so smart, tell me why are you still so afraid? Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better Cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do and only so many hours in a day. Hey, but you know that when the truth is told, that you can get what you want or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you wanna be before your time. Although it's so romantic on the borderline tonight. Too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you could see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right. You're right. You got your passion, you got your pride, but don't you know that only fools are satisfied? Dream on, but don't imagine they'll all come true. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, you crazy child, and take the phone off the hook and disappear for a while. It's alright, you can't afford to lose a day or two. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? And you know that when the truth is told, that you can get what you want or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Ooh, why don't you realize Vienna waits for you? When will you realize Vienna waits for you?